Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Contact. I hope you're all doing well, and I am not on my own, so I'll bring on my co-host straight away. We got Problem Being joining me as we always do every Friday. I did get a message off PD Rich, so I better check it real quick. But we have Beetlejuice 2 news to talk about. Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg have upped their feud.
Yeah.
We talk about is it all got to do with this, but I'm just going to put an interesting spanner in the works there and say, is this all? Is it manufactured because there's this talk of this cage fight, this UFC fight? Is it all like maybe Elon is? Um,
Controlled opposition.
yeah, maybe it's not as a big deal as they're making it out to be. It'd be nice to get some of your thoughts on that in the chat. And also, we've got this video footage which Lee has watched as well. I have watched, and there was a similar video as well. I can't find it though. That's the thing. But a man freaked out on a plane as well. Had a freak out on the plane. So this woman, I'm going to show you some video footage. This woman had a freak out on a plane, and she's basically walking off the plane, and she turned around and says something about a guy in a green hoodie saying he's not real or something like that, and everybody's head just turns at the same time and looks at this poor bloke. But apparently, if you have to believe TikTok, she's gone missing. This woman. But we're gonna show you the footage. We're gonna see what you guys think of it. Give us your opinion. It's a bit of a light one this week because again, this writer's strike is really like killing everything. And as I said, I'll just be repeating the same news that we've already covered, and we don't want to do that on here. I know, like other channels may do that, but we like to try keep it as fresh as possible. But we do have people in the chat, so before we get into all of the uh, nonsense that we have for you tonight, we've got Nicholas Horton in the chat. He says hi, Noel. Nice to see you. We're live on
Hello.
Facebook, Twitter, and obviously here on YouTube. Leland is also in the chat saying hello to everybody. Leland is saying it's all phony. Yeah, that's what they've said, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know. There's something about the video. There's symbolism going on and all of that and stuff.
Hello, Nicholas.
But in fairness, it
Hello,
could be
ladies.
well a phony. But we'll get into it. Lee has opinions on it, so we'll definitely get into it. But I think we should start off with this Twitter beef. And PD won't be joining us because he probably did tell me that he was going to be somewhere on Friday, and I totally forgot about it because, like as you know, I'm doing loads of different bleeding stuff right now. Um, but we'll get into it. So Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg have been at each other's throats is what I would say. Uh, Zuckerberg has launched this thing called Threads, which is direct competition for Twitter, and he's been putting out snide remarks saying that his app is going to be a friendly place and all of this.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but if anybody doesn't know about Zuckerberg's past, I just want to point out a few things. So, this is a man that was accused of stealing someone's app. That two twin brothers actually sued him, and they settled out of court. He also screwed over his friend and fellow CEO Eduardo Severin, I think was his name, and they even had his name originally taken off the when you go and you search who owns Facebook, his name was removed. Now it was later put on after he settled his case as well. He actually sued Zuckerberg. So Zuckerberg has done this before, right? Is the point that I'm trying to make. And now he thinks that he can now go head to head with Twitter. Um, Now, as I said, I don't know if some of this is manufactured. Um, but there does seem to be a real. There is something between that. They don't like each other. Is clear.
Or is that a front?
Or is that a front? But this is what he put up 2 hours ago, and then I was kind of thinking because. I had that thought, right? Maybe this is all a front for this big cage fight because there'll be a shit ton of money to be made. But then he puts up this tweet and then I reassessed the whole thing and I'm saying, okay, he's actually coming out all guns blazing. This isn't friendly. This is actually, I think this is for real. So he put this in retaliation because Zuckerberg, as I said, has been kind of, having a dig at Twitter. By saying that his app is going to be a lot more friendlier and stuff. Remember, Zuckerberg's company, Facebook, gave all their data to companies without their permission. I just want you all to realise that that's what we're dealing with here. Imagine if all social media was under Zuck's thumb. And it is official. It is Elon Musk's account. There you go. He has 146 million subscribers or followers. That's a lot of bloody bleeding followers. Jesus Christ. But this is this is him coming out swinging right now. Right? Now in a real fight, I think Zuckerberg will take Elon, right? If the fight does happen, I think Zuckerberg is a great fighter. I don't see Elon beating him, to be quite honest with you. But I want to ask you, Lee, will Elon Musk Twitter, or he will be changing it. Now, I think that's a bad idea, actually, to change the Twitter name because it's so iconic, but he's going to eventually call it the Everything app or whatever the heck he wants to call it. But in reality, can Zuckerberg compete with Twitter? Should Elon Musk actually be worried, or should Elon be confident that that this is going to be another failure? Because remember, his metaverse has been, Zuckerberg's metaverse has been universally slated. Do you remember in the early days it was slated?
Yeah, I think there's like about 7 people on there now, So
what do you think, mate?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? There is talk that Threads, which has a lot of former Twitter employees, moving over to Meta, to Threads, and there's a bit of hoo-ha about proprietary software and such, because it's such a clone of Twitter. So I imagine there could possibly be a legal case there. I think. Can I just
play devil's advocate here, though? And I don't want anybody to have a go at me, right? I try to stay out of politics as much as I can. But if that's the case, right? So if Zuckerberg is guilty of that, why isn't Donald Trump's Truth Social guilty of that? Because that looks like a clone from the screenshots that I've seen. It's not
how it looks necessarily. It's how it works and how it functions, or the code or whatever. So, I mean, if you've got people, I don't think his Trump's Truth Social has any former Twitter employees, as far as I'm aware. I don't think that it would be the like.
And that is the thing, isn't it, Lee? Though, I mean, you've got the Twitter employees who we've discovered through the Twitter files what they were capable of doing. They were working on behalf of the government. They admitted that, right? Now they've gone over to Facebook now and they've launched this rival Threads. Why would anybody out there? I've seen loads of content creators and all join this as well, which baffles my mind because he's been given out about Zuckerberg and Facebook, but he gets this shiny new toy and he's all joining up.
It's because it's connected. It's connected to Instagram. For them, it's just a case of migration. I mean, it's quite amusing that Zuckerberg is positing this as a friendly space, and the joke is that he should have called it safe space.
How could he? But that's the thing. How is he going to be able to police that and enforce that? Because he would have to police it and enforce it to make it a friendly app. So therefore, is he not subverting free speech by actually doing that?
Of course, it's going to be one of the most censorious social media platforms there is. It's going to be like Twitter 1.0. Okay, that's really what he's angling for. And again, you've got these, the former Twitterati who want to migrate to this thing and going, yeah, but goodbye Twitter, yeah. And it's like, well, you're just going to, leave West Berlin to go to East Berlin, and you kind of cheering on your own demise because you bloody Turkey's voting for Christmas, So I think they'll just go there and try and police each other. Really, that's what they do, and ultimately it's just going to be an echo chamber. So you're going to have Threads as one echo chamber, and then Twitter will become another echo chamber, which it seems another divide and rule strategy here. Maybe that's my conspiratorial hat going on, made of tinfoil, but it does seem to me something quite like that.
Well, it's not tinfoil hat.
Further divide of society, which we've already seen.
But Lee, it's not tinfoil hat stuff because the Twitter files showed what these people that worked for Twitter were capable of. Now they're going over to Facebook, and as someone has said in the chat, Nicholas Horton, and it is true, I only use Facebook now. I actually removed everybody that I was following, like family wise and stuff like that. It wasn't because I didn't want to interact with them or anything like that. It was because I was going to leave Facebook, but then I decided, I've got a couple of groups there, Doctor Who groups there, and all I do now is post me videos. I don't post anything else on my Facebook page but these streams. That's it. I'm hardly on it, actually.
Well, I've got an image here for you, which I'll show you. I'll send it to you. Send it to the
Twitter.
Chat in Twitter. Yeah.
No problem.
So this is the privacy, the app privacy for Threads. Okay. So data linked to you. The following data may be collected and linked to your identity, whichever that may be. So it includes health and yeah.
I'll throw it up so people know exactly what you're talking about, and I'll remove that comment.
But when you download this app, this is what you're agreeing to, right? This is you're agreeing in their privacy policy to allow them to collect data on you for the following reasons. And when that pops,
See, here's the problem. Just before Lee gets into this, here's the problem. When Zuckerberg first launched Facebook, people were so openly, they were sharing their information freely. And remember, the CIA, all these government agencies, and all around the world, that's their dream, man, to get all of their data and all information on us.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I mean,
and Facebook gave them the gateway to do it because they couldn't believe, people are actually sharing their whole lives on Facebook, like.
Well, that's it. The whole thing. The trick is right. Is instead of having a fascist state where people are forced to do something they don't want to do, whatever, the trick is now, instead of jackboots and funny hand gestures, whatever, they what they do now is they get the people to clamor for it, to want to give their things away, to give away their freedom. And that's what these thread idiots want to do. They want to give away their freedom for security and safety. And
so go on,
those who give away their freedom for security and safety deserve neither. And that's a paraphrase.
I agree. It's harsh, but I agree. If they're so willingly, openly willingly to get their information and to be controlled, well, then they deserve to be controlled.
An existential threat to everyone's freedom and liberty. So
exactly.
this app is clearly telling you, right, that health and fitness, financial information, contact information, user content, whatever you post, browsing history,
wow,
usage data, diagnostics, purchases, location, your contacts, search history, identifiers, whatever the hell that means, sensitive information, and other data, whatever that is. I mean, what's left? What the fuck is left?
So basically, if you sign up to this, folks, right, you're giving everything away. I'm actually leaving Instagram. That's what I'm going to do. I think it's the there's no way we should stay on Instagram. It's a Zuckerberg app. I mean, it's dead anyway. I mean, who uses it? I mean, I threw up a lot of videos and stuff like that, as you know. Nobody, it's dead.
Well, I mean, if you look at Zuckerberg's past, like you were mentioning about the two people who took him to court for stealing Facebook, I think he's been taken. He's an asset for, the deep state in America, right? He's an asset for them because he's compliant to their every wish and desire. He was the one, obviously, the Secret Service or the deep state, the CIA, the FBI, whatever, saw Zuckerberg as someone who they could control. So they made sure that he was the one who took over Facebook. They saw the potential of it. And then they took what he did and pumped him for the information. They've gotten control of Facebook. Now with this, that they want more information. And if you look at what he said when he was interviewed on Joe Rogan, that he was more than willing to roll over when the FBI, CIA, whatever came in and said, well, this stuff about Hunter Biden, you've got to keep stum about it. Otherwise, something bad might happen. And he was like, yeah, okay, do what you want. Because he's compliant. So he's a puppet. He is a puppet. He's a puppet for the deep state in Silicon Valley, clearly. And is Zuckerberg really the antithesis to Elon Musk, or is Elon Musk playing out the good guy versus the bad guy thing? I don't know. When you're in the multi-billionaire leagues, you're in a very rarefied club. So we don't know how that operates behind the scenes. He might be the most genuine person in the world. I don't know. But maybe this is all part of a much wider clampdown on controlling.
Do you think he could be one of those people? He's very smart, but he's easily manipulated. And he's probably got in so deep. I'm only playing devil's advocate here. I don't believe this.
I don't know how manipulated you can be when you've reached that level of success. I mean, you don't get that level of success by being easily led astray, I don't think, unless of course there's powers behind him that dragged him up there. I don't think so personally, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think there is a lot of inconsistency in what he says. Obviously, freedom of speech absolutist.
Always has been, man. With him,
yeah, there's he's a human being. Let's be clear that means he's going to be fallible. Anyway.
Is he? I don't know, man. People think he's a cyborg or something.
No, that's Zuckerberg. I'm talking about Elon Musk.
Oh, Elon.
Yeah.
He's a workhorse, man. But
yeah,
I don't know. Look, what Elon did last week to prevent all the data being collected and all, we didn't quite understand that at first, but he moved quickly on it. Shows that I think Elon does have good intentions. We could see that he has good intentions.
I just don't put my trust and faith in things that I can't see for myself. Like we've got his word to say for it. He's extremely powerful, extremely wealthy, has control of Twitter. I mean, we've seen how he did that so-called temporary fix on limitations of what you can read and post and all this. That was really annoying for a while. I didn't notice that today at all, so I don't know what's happening.
No, it's gone. I think it's gone now. But he said it was a temporary measure because they were scraping the data. That's what he was trying to stop. So that's what I'm saying. He had good intentions. I just think the way he went about it, That's the thing, though. I think just the way he went about it was the wrong way. He literally did it and then announced that it was
Well, maybe
done.
he had to do it in order to do it by surprise.
Yeah.
So that I can understand. What the actual end result of that, what it means for the average user, I don't know. I mean, we can only go by what he says. Do I trust any of these billionaires in Silicon Valley? Not particularly, but it is what it is.
Well,
What
I
it
mean,
is.
he'll
We're
be
here.
the first billionaire. In fairness, you are right. I mean, he would be the first billionaire to be fully trusted.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, how many times have we come across all the sort of negative connotations of billionaires and all this?
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say that it would be nice to have at least one that's our friend, and I don't see that that's not out of the realms of possibility. So I'm hoping
No, I
that
agree.
he is. You know,
it would be nice. I hope he does. There's a couple of things. Look, I've been up and down with him. I'm not going to lie. He still has a lot to prove, but I have noticed lately there does seem to be good intentions there, but he just, if he keeps it up, fixes what he needs to fix, because let's be honest, the app has gone a bit crap. It's not the same as it used to be.
Well, I have to say I've noticed it's I appear to have been sort of more free to speak my mind a lot more. I haven't been struck for the things that I've said as much as I had been in the past. That has
no,
changed.
that's good. I agree. It is more freer. I will admit that. But the algorithm is still all over the place. See, here's the thing, right? I don't mind that he wants to do the Twitter Blue thing because he needs to make some money off, and that's his way of doing it. And there'll be other components that will go with that. That's fine. Sorry about the football match in the background. As you know, I live beside a football stadium, and their team is just at the Scarton, so big cheer, yay! Anyway, right? I lost my train of thought now. There, what was I talking about? Oh my god, that just flew out my head.
No, just as you were saying that, I was reading Darren Bradley's comments, so I totally lost it as well. But he was saying, speaking of Threads, will you be doing a watch along of 1985's BBC nuclear bomb docudrama Threads? Never watching that again. Thank you. Especially not after all that stuff with Russia recently. No, that is the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life.
I hate when that happens, man. I was in the middle of full flow and then they bleed and chair, man. And I wouldn't even mind. I know you even muted yourself so you didn't disturb me, and then pricks. Come on, someone get me back. Anyway,
I can always go back and rewind and have a listen.
Jesus, no, that's too.
But if I put myself on pause, then you start glitching out. So that's.
Anyway, let's hope he does have good intentions. But oh yeah, I know now. I remember. Now I remember what I was going to say. So I understand that he has to make money with the Twitter Blue situation, right? And their algorithm is great and blah, blah, blah. But what I don't like is fair enough. Ones that don't pay, right? He wants to kind of force you to get it. I get that. But what I don't like is that, for example, right? You tweet a lot, right? I tweet a lot, right? And there's a few people that we follow. Well, it'll probably be the next day when I see our tweets, man, because the way the algorithm is gone. Like I literally have to go into our profiles to see if you have tweeted that, and I shouldn't have to do that. So if he fixed that and made it like that, I could still see your posts when you actually tweet your posts, then I wouldn't have an issue. But he is forcing, and eventually we probably will all need to get Twitter Blue. Whether people can afford it or not now is going to be a different story. But the platform is going to change because he's made that clear. But we got the walked eyebrow in the chat there, Lee, and they say, I grew up with New Who, but I've been watching some Pertwee recently, and I love Planet of the Spiders and Cliffhanger from Ambassadors of Death. The cliffhanger was very good, and that's a nice little segue. Lovely. We don't normally do Doctor Who on here on a Friday, but because it is John Pertwee's birthday, obviously he's no longer with us, I thought it'd be nice because it is classic Who to give a few minutes and dedicate a few minutes. So if there's anybody in the chat, as you see scrolling across the screen there, if you've got any favorite memories of Pertwee, doesn't necessarily have to be Doctor Who, or if there's any favorite Doctor Who stories that you like of his, let us know, like the Walk Eyebrow has. But I'll ask you, Lee, John Pertwee, I call him the Action Doctor. Woo! You're a fan. Obviously, Tom Baker. You're more of a fan of Tom Baker, but Pertwee, for you, what was your favorite Doctor Who story of the Pertwee era?
Well, first of all, happy birthday to John Pertwee, in wherever you are in space and time. He would have been 104 today.
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it? I did meet the man.
Oh, nice.
I did. I think I've said this story a bunch of times, but I'll say it again.
It's been a while though.
When I was at high school, I had my Doctor Who club that we were part of, and we got tickets to go and see John Pertwee in the premiere, like the first showing of The Ultimate Adventure, where he played the Doctor for the first time in many, many years. So we got to see him play the Doctor, and then we got to meet him backstage in his dressing room afterwards, and we all just stood there. He was wearing I can't remember what he was wearing. Was he wearing like a dressing gown or something? Like it's very lovely, darling. Very, very actory. And he was very gracious, very, very, very lovely man. And we all just stood there with our mouths open, a gawk, and just staring at him as he was talking to us. I can't remember a thing he said. That's an annoying thing. Whenever I've met people, apart from when I met Tom Baker, that burnt in my memory. But when I met him, we were just so in awe, because we'd spent many Doctor Who clubs watching his era on pirated VHS copies of VHS, because it wasn't available at the time, and some of them were still in black and white even then. And there was this awkward pause. But would any of you like to ask me a question? That's one thing I do remember. And I was just like, "Can I have your autograph?" God, it was so wet and pathetic. But yeah, he was absolutely lovely. Absolutely treasured that. And yeah, he may fall slightly short for me as my favorite Doctor, which is Tom, but he's not that far behind for me. John Pertwee embodies the role of the Doctor as much as Tom Baker does. Those two are the greatest, in my opinion. Can never be beaten. He's such an effervescent character, such a noble, intelligent, witty, serious, stern, stoic, action-packed hero. Everything that boys would look up to, and a role model I think boys sorely miss nowadays. I think if we had someone like John Pertwee as the Doctor right now, things would be so much different and better for it. For me, my favorite Third Doctor story, probably. God, it's so difficult. I think Inferno.
Yeah.
Probably
That is.
Inferno.
Yeah. I mean, the cast is stellar in that one.
It's great, and I love the Brigadier playing brigade leader in the alternative universe. I think that's great. There's a lot. I mean, I think his era was punctuated by some amazing stories, followed by some really terrible stories in those seasons, which is a shame, because I don't think there's a particular season that stood out to me. I think certain episodes and certain seasons worked and some didn't work so much, which made it very patchy. Whereas I think with Tom Baker, there's a couple of almost perfect seasons, which is more consistent, I guess. But that's not to take away anything from John Pertwee as the Doctor. He was absolutely fantastic. Yeah. My very, 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 very close second favorite.
We got a couple of comments. We got one from Bobby D75, which I'll put up on screen there. Start watching Who with episode 2 of the Pertwee story, The Silurians. Lindsay says, I met John at Pentacon the year before he passed away, got his autograph and had a photo taken with him. He didn't seem well at the time, but he braved it out. Lovely man. And Darren says, John signed my Ultimate Adventure poster backstage also. Yeah.
There's another story. I ended up with his autograph twice. God, I don't know what happened to them. That breaks my heart now. But the first time, my grandmother was working as a county court clerk in Putney in London, and he turned up at the court because I think he was filing for divorce from his wife at the time. And my grandmother very cheekily asked for his autograph for me. And he said, "Do you want it signed to Wurzel Gummidge or Doctor Who?" It's like the Doctor, because I love both, you know. But so that was funny. Probably not what he was expecting when he was filing for divorce at a county court. But I remember that fondness.
Lindsay says, my favourite Doctor is Davison, then Pertwee for me. And then Holden says, Wurzel Gummidge, which I did grow up watching as a kid.
Yeah, me too.
Because that was on TV when I was, or it was either being
repeated. That's how I knew him first, because, you know, in the late 70s and early 80s, he was Wurzel Gummidge, and I'd missed him as the Doctor, because I wasn't born until 75. Yeah. So
I still haven't been able to bring myself to watch Indiana Jones yet, folks. So I know some of you are still waiting for us to watch that movie, but I promise you I'll get it done over the weekend, and then on Friday, or I might wait until during the week to watch it so it's fresh in the memory, and then I'll give you a report on it. But yeah, I'm kind of not really looking forward to it, but we'll see what happens.
I'm not watching.
Lindsay says the Demons.
Yeah, I love Bok. I know it's Man in the Leotard, but I love the Master in his satanic robes.
Yeah,
so good.
And I suppose we can't forget the audios that he did as well, because he did some audios back in the day. He starred in that Sailor Navy series, whatever it was. I forget the name of it. Yeah. So, and then of course Wurzel Gummidge. So he had, and he's done other
Carry On movies.
Yeah, I mean he had a great career, but it was sad when he passed away, man.
And Doctor Who was his first quote unquote serious role.
Yeah,
he'd been a comic actor really up until that point.
Yeah, he played it very well.
If you look on YouTube, if you haven't heard it already, I can't recommend it enough. If you go on YouTube and you type in John Pertwee, an audience with John Pertwee,
I've watched it.
It's incredible. He just talks about his life. It's one of the funniest, heart-going. I don't know how to describe it. It's so much fun. He holds court. He really, really does tell you his life story in such a vivid way. You can live it almost. It's fascinating. From his days in the circus and the days when he was nearly blown up in the Second World War. Oh my goodness! It's a roller coaster. Just go and have a listen to that and check it out. Fantastic.
And he did that Gotcha with Noel Edmonds, which is brilliant as well. That is a classic clip if you haven't seen it. I mean, how he holds it together for as long as he did, man, was unbelievable. When he comes out and he's talking to Noel Edmonds and all, you can see the measure of the man. He took it all in his stride and had a good laugh about it.
He could take a joke. He could.
And that's the thing. I think wasn't it only a couple of months then after that Noel Edmonds appearance? That was his last TV appearance, if I'm correct in saying.
I think you're right. And the other thing as well is, like, when he was on the set of Doctor Who, he was famous for pulling pranks on people.
Yeah.
So you know, it only stands to reason that he could take the joke, because he himself was a bit of a prankster.
Chris Persia is in the chat with us as well, and Holton has joined us. Nice to see us. Don't forget to hit that like button, folks. And Bobby D also is in the chat. Just want to give you a shout out, folks. But yeah, look, for me, I really enjoys Doctor Who. And I've said that to you loads of times. I really do, man. I do like I like the action side. Do you know? I wish New Who would do that a little bit more with the Doctor. I would really love that, man. I would. I think if the Doctors is it's more action off. Just fly off the wall, man. That'd be just great, man.
Well, I mean, most of this stuff today is, they don't let the actors drive the cars, whatever. They'll have some stunt people do it. I mean, he rode his own vehicles. He rode his own the hovercraft.
Yeah, he had that space car. He had the Stingray car, as I call it.
Yeah, the Hooverville.
Yeah, that was deadly. The new Wurzel Gummidge is good. Got to be honest, the new Wurzel Gummidge is decent. I will agree, but it is on hiatus. I have to say, it's different. It's different, but it's a good. See, that's when you do a good when you reimagine something. And anyway, the newer one is closer to the actual source material anyway, than the actual Pertwee one. But everybody fell in love with the Pertwee one and Aunt Sally.
And he fought for that because they didn't want to do it, did they? And they were trying to not, and he believed in it so much. I think he sort of co-produce that, but he was committed to do it. And it was a huge success.
Bessie, Sarah Jane. Oh,
I got a little corgi Bessie. And if you go on Marketplace on Facebook, someone is actually selling a yellow Ford from that era. So it's exactly like Bessie. Someone's actually selling one.
How much?
$8,000.
Fucking hell, though.
£8,000. I'm not joking.
But if you had $8,000, you'd buy it, wouldn't you?
I can't drive, but I'd still buy it if I had $8,000.
I'd buy it, man. I'd buy it, man.
You'd rent it out, wouldn't you? Get it fixed up, rented it out.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's it, man. And then if there's any Doctor Who conventions anywhere, just drive up to or get someone to drive you up to the convention in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Sorted. Does anybody have anything else to say? Because I don't want to be disrespectful, because he was a great Doctor. Love classic Who, as you know. So I don't want to move on with it unless everybody has gotten a comment in. And I see there is one from Chris. No limit. Yeah, that's the car, but I just call it a Stingray because it looks like a Stingray. Look at it. It's shaped like a Stingray.
Chris, what do you know about bloody Blue Peter? You're a Canadian. Stop it.
Yeah, you don't want to be watching Blue Peter. Sorry, I'll rephrase. No. You don't want your kids to be watching Blue Peter nowadays.
No.
Right. Now, before I move on, there is one more little bit of Doctor that you're going to discuss. I'm not, right? But you did mention something about Whoopi Goldberg. So very quickly and briefly, right? Because I want to move on from this very fast, right? Because I don't want to get into a whole thing. But you can give your reasons why. But apparently there's a rumor. Is it a rumor or is it being confirmed? First of all,
it's a rumor at the moment.
Right. I'll tell everybody what the rumor is.
Okay. The rumor is, and this was from Dan Hadley's The Space Book from yesterday. Let's go and check it out. Type 40 podcast said that the rumor is that Whoopi Goldberg is going to be in the Christmas special, the Doctor Who Christmas special. I fumed at this because
what's she playing? A bad German?
We don't know. Yeah, right. Yeah. Now the thing is, right, Peter Davison wanted to do a sequel to the Five-ish Doctors, okay, for the 60th anniversary. The BBC put a kibosh on that by saying it was utterly, what was it? it was utterly something or other. It wasn't good anyway. The reason being, apparently, according to rumor, this is rumor, folks, because Peter Davison and his wife wrote the script, and the idea was that they would go around to try and get this is the plot, to try and get the sequel to the Five-ish Doctors done, but the BBC says no because it's not diverse enough. So he goes around going and getting all the actors of color, which is a stupid expression, and to get them to appear in it, you know, throughout the history of the show, to come and to be in it, and then it gets made because they're diverse. Apparently, that is a bit too much for the BBC, and they said no. Or Peter Davison said, "Fine, if you won't let me do that, I'm not going to do it." So one of those two things. So that's the rumor. That's what happened. So apparently, the BBC was worried it might cause offence. But when it comes to Jews, the BBC doesn't give a fuck. So they bring in potentially, according to rumor, Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi. Hitler wasn't a racist because the Jews aren't a race. Goldberg, right? The woman who made her name Goldberg a Jewish name because she thought by sounding Jewish she would get work in Hollywood. This woman is as anti-Semitic as it gets. The woman's been thrown off the View, the show that she was on, when she made these outrageous comments saying that Hitler wasn't being racist because Jews are white. I mean, and she semi-apologized, but then doubled down on it by repeating the same thing again. And then she did something else about Jews again later on. So it seems to me a bit of a two-way street here when it comes to the BBC's standards and what people find offensive. I'm offended, but no one gives a shit when it's Jews, right? I mean, when people are telling you that this is no, it's not anti-Semitic because whatever reason, because everything else that she says they're on board with, okay, because of all the woke shit she comes up with. But Jews, not a problem. You can say what the hell you want about Jews, and that's fine, apparently, according to the BBC and The View and all these other arseholes and Disney.
Is there any way? Listen, I know you're angry and you have every right to be angry, right? And I even backed you up and said, if this woman, that's it, done, right? I don't want to see that woman anywhere near Doctor Who, right? We got Jinx Monsoon. That's all I'm going to say on it. But is there any way, though, that maybe fans can help get this project off the ground, or does he have to get BBC's permission to do it? Because if there was a way around it, I think fans should rally behind this and help it out.
Well, you know what? I blame the Jodie fans. I blame the wokerati in this fandom. If it was not for them whining and complaining about diversity and inclusion like it's the only fucking thing that matters in the universe, this would have happened. We would have had a sequel to the Five-ish Doctors. But no, because their perpetual bloody fear of absolutely any form of criticism to their religion or anyone daring to mock them, oh, it's offensive. But let's bring in Whoopi Goldberg instead. That should work. You know, she's never said anything controversial about Jews or anything. That's fine, apparently. So, you know, the double standards is one thing. But really, the reason why the Five-ish Doctors wouldn't be allowed to have a sequel now is because the maniacs that have dominated this fandom for the last 5-6 years are the ones that the BBC is protecting their fifis about. But hey, never mind.
Are they protecting them, or are they afraid of them, Lee? Because
well,
it seems to be a bit of fear there, if you're asking me. That
it's a mix. Yeah, but the BBC's on their side no matter what anyway, okay? Because they're the same sort of people, right? They're the same people who believe in the same thing, okay? Which is this kind of fascist notion that everyone must be kowtow to, that we must all be the same, think the same, do the same, and there's no comedy allowed. No, because it might be offensive. Okay, and look how they treated Peter Davison on Twitter before when they chased him off because he said that the Doctor should be a man because it's a role model for boys.
Yeah.
God, controversial. You know, hound him off Twitter. But hey, let's bring in Whoopi Goldberg. She's fine. You know, she can say what she likes about Jews, and Hitler wasn't a racist, you know, seemingly. Like, I mean, that's ridiculous. But she said all this stuff. She was, you know, I don't necessarily mean to cancel the woman. Whatever. I just don't think it's. I think it's incredibly double standard, incredibly insensitive when you want to talk about concerns over racism, all this stuff that they virtue signal about 24/7 on Twitter. But when it comes to the Jews, they don't give a shit. So there's a huge
John Barrowman got cancelled for less. I want to make clear, and then Noel Clark got cancelled for unfounded allegations. And let's you know, this is the hypocrisy of the BBC as well, because the BBC turned their backs on those two lads, and yeah, they're supporting people like Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg and Jinx Monsoon and Suze Kempner and her revolting note, like her comments on transing children. I just, for all their talk, for all their talk about diversity and inclusion and not wanting to offend anyone, bloody hell, you know, I mean, it's immensely crazy to me that these people can get away with saying the most outrageous things imaginable, and that's fine because they're on board with the rest of the message. But when it comes to things like that, there's a huge double standard there.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, she's stunning and brave. What, you know, Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, she's always wanted to be.
She better know. Listen, this room. Listen, I will say this, right? This Whoopi Goldberg. I'm not saying that Dan doesn't have sources, because he clearly does, and well done, Dan, for reporting the news. But this Whoopi Goldberg being in Doctor Who has been rumored. The rumors began during the Chris Chibnall era, and she has been talking a lot, as you know, about Doctor Who, doing little interviews saying, you know, she'd like to play the Doctor and all of that. And I think that was all her way of trying to get on the show. And I think she may have finally succeeded. Think about it. It's going to be on Disney Plus. Whoopi Goldberg, she's American. She was a big star at one stage. And when she wasn't annoying, we all loved Whoopi at one stage, like, you know. But don't know what's happened to her over the years. Seems to me she's gone very bitter and she's angry over something I do not know. But I don't want this woman anywhere near Doctor Who. I'm actually really, really gutted that she's in the 60th.
So let's get this right. So we've got Suze Kempner, who celebrates gay conversion therapy effectively for children. We have Jinx Monsoon, who is a misogynist and a homophobe. And we have Whoopi Goldberg, who's a raging anti-Semite, which is effectively racism, right? Okay. So what kind of double standard is this? Really? Think about it. You know, and I'm not using hyperbole. These are the things that these people have said openly.
Yeah.
Not like I am an anti-Semite or I hate Jews or anything like that, or I want to transgate. They don't do it. They're much more subtle than that. Well, I say subtle. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg is barely bloody subtle. But when it comes to what they represent and the politics and the cultish belief system that they employ, has very sinister overtones to it. And I don't care that they think that they're on the right side of history. Yeah. A bunch of people in the 1930s said the same thing, that they were on the right side of history. I don't tend to give much credence to that mantra, and it is a mantra. But quite honestly, you know, you can't preach to me virtue and then you go and cast people like this who are obnoxious, who say the most horrendous things in support of the most horrendous things because you agree with them. That's bigotry in its own right, in its own standard, by any measure. You know, you can't tell me that Whoopi Goldberg hasn't said something outrageously anti-Semitic when she was punished for it Not much, by the way, but she was punished for it.
Yeah, she was suspended, wasn't she?
Right? So that you can't tell me that this woman isn't guilty of saying horrendous things when she is effectively Holocaust denial, right? Denying the root causes of that, which was racism. Whether or not Jews are a race is a whole other discussion. The Nazis certainly believed they were. I say we. I mean, my great grandparents were survivors of Auschwitz. The only ones, them and one uncle. That's all I had left. My mother is the only surviving member of that side of my family left. One person. One. And for that woman to come onto television and then deny the root causes of what happened to them is so unimaginably coarse, insensitive, wrong, and just horrendous. And then you want to bring that woman into Doctor Who on top of everyone else that has said the most outrageous things. Transient surgery for minors. Are you crazy? You can't justify this to me.
Yeah.
Under any circumstance. No. You can't justify that to me and then tell me I'm a bad person because I didn't like Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. Or I might have a problem with things that Ncuti Gatwa has said. You know, I mean, it blows my mind. It really does. The double standard is dripping from these elites, and I'm so done with this. If I had any second thoughts about watching or not watching the next series of Doctor Who, this has cemented it for me. If it turns out to be true, but I just want to get my voice out there and my anger about that. If this is indeed the case, because I beyond insensitive, really. You guys want to tell me that this is a virtuous person because she's so nice, she's so lovely, she's one of us, she believes the things that we believe, so therefore she's a good person, everyone else is a bad person, and turn a blind eye to that. You can't preach one thing to me and then do the exact opposite by bringing someone like that on. No.
Yeah, Chris says Lee, and then there's the fact that Whoopi hates anyone that doesn't agree with her politically. She is a closed-minded bigot, no matter from what aspect you look at her at.
Absolutely.
Which is actually true, Chris. I would have to agree with you there. She's I don't know what's happened. Nicholas Horton also says my mum is quarter Jewish, and I think
only a quarter in her
on her dad's side of the family.
Do better. Joking. I'm joking.
Is there a new Willy Wonka film being made? Do you know? I haven't heard anything about a new Willy Wonka movie. Who's rumored to be in it? Let me know. If it doesn't have Johnny Depp, you can
big bloody Whoopi Goldberg at this rate.
Leland says I put it down to celebrity-induced narcissism, thinking that only their issues count and nobody else is worth consideration. Yeah, see, this is the problem. You know, actors and actresses, you know, when I'm not saying we're political back in the day, because a few actors and actresses took a stand, but it seems like every single one of them now has a cause, and it's just like you're paid to act, right? End the story. Yeah. I mean, there's people taking selfies and all that at that.
Oh, that, I mean, yeah, that was standing on the, you know, I don't know. No.
Let's move on. No. Anyway, we got something that might give you a little bit of a upbeat. Now, obviously, we reported on this like a lot of other channels did when the news broke that there was going to be a Beetlejuice 2 with Tim Burton. Now, when we did speak about it, the last time we did speak about it, we were very skeptical And we were saying we did say Michael Keaton coming back and stuff was a good thing, and obviously some of the cast coming back was a good thing. But we have now, they're actually filming right now. And I've got some, if you are a member, you would have got to see all of what I'm about to show you a little bit earlier on. But we've got some photographs from the set of Beetlejuice 2. And then I have a little video to play for you guys as well. And then I want to get your opinions on the movie, and let me know if you are excited for it. So there is Jenna Ortega. As you all know, Jenna Ortega is supposed to be rumored to be playing Lydia Dietz's daughter, and there she is in a red dress. And I noticed here, I don't know if that's pink going to the dress or if that's actually blood. And then we have.
I do like Jenny Ortega.
There she is. She's back. Winona Ryder is back, and there she is. And she's looking.
Button down the furniture. Hide the silver. She's here. She's on set. Hide everything.
In fairness, she has had her troubles, but I'm glad she's on the comeback. I mean, Stranger Things, I think, was a godsend for her. And I mean, she's kept herself and her nose clean for a long time now. But she must have only filmed a scene here, or she's cold or something, because she looks very, I said it earlier, she looks a bit distressed there. I hope she's all right. But they're the set photos. But I do have some video footage for you that you're really going to like. And I have to be honest with you, when I saw this today, it actually brought back a lot of memories. And I have to say, this kind of put me mind at ease a little bit. We will get into it about what you guys actually think. Remember, all the links to everything that I'm showing you and we've been talking about are actually in the link description, and then we'll get into this mad woman on the plane business. But I've got this to show you, so you know what the videos are like on Twitter now when I do this. So just bear with me until I get everything perfect, so I don't mess up. But I've got some beautiful footage to show you, so I'll screen share it and then make it big. We must be still winning because they haven't stopped bleeding Sheridan. I wish the other team would score just to shut them up for 5 minutes. I know. Right, has a screen shared. I just want to make sure. Should be up now on screen. Come on. Right, there we go. So big screen. Now I'm not going to play the sound because the music, we don't want to get into trouble. But here is some footage from the set of Beetlejuice 2. It's a minute long, so enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. We'll read out some of your comments and we'll get Lee's opinion on it as well. So here we go.
Oh, that's the house, all right.
It does. It looks so accurate, man. Look at even the town.
Yeah, because when we filmed Dark Shadows, another Tim Burton film that I was an extra in, there was virtually a whole town, or at least a high street, was built around the huge pool of water that they have at Pinewood Studios. It's the largest open air water tank in the world for a film studio. So they built this entire town effectively with a hill and cars on it and everything, houses up on stilts over this water tank. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. You had a cinema, shops, a bar that you could go in. Incredible. And they had a huge factory that they blew up. So we had to watch this huge explosion. You can feel your eyelashes curl. Fantastic. I mean, the level of detail that goes into making these film sets for towns like that, it was all a set. It's not real at all. It's not like you could go to American Town and it's all there. They built everything. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. It looked so real.
Yeah, I have to say, when I saw that footage earlier today, it gave me a bit, I've been kind of like, skeptical about this movie because it's been so long, but Michael Keaton has just been killing everything he's been in right now. That kind of put me at ease. But to see the set now, to see how they're setting it all up, I'm actually looking forward to this movie now. My mind has been put at ease somewhat.
You're being manipulated by the member berries.
You could be right now, but I would rather put a positive spin on it for now. Now, we haven't spoke about it. That's the last topic, which we're going to be doing next. The only other Beetlejuice thing that I liked was the 90s animated show on Cartoon Network. Yeah, I remember that, actually. That wasn't bad. Jenna Ortega was good on Wednesday, says Nicholas.
She was great.
Nicholas Horton. Lydia, yeah. That's what I said, didn't I? I said Lydia Dietz, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I did. But yeah, Lydia is back. I know, I'm glad she's got her life back on track, man, and she's in this, because it wouldn't be the same without her. She definitely had to be in this movie, though.
It's got Willem Dafoe in it as well, isn't it? So
yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody gives two fecks whether Alec Baldwin, he's not anyway, but we didn't really give a crap whether he was going to turn up or not. Kind of glad he's not anyway. Sure. If he did, we probably won't get the sequel. That's all I'll say. Why the bloody long wait for the sequel? Well, if you've seen there, that's the set. They've been rebuilding stuff as well. It looks like they've gone back to the original location and they're rebuilding stuff, because you see the old buildings behind what they're putting in front of it. So I look, it's Tim Burton. His attention to detail, as you know, he likes to get everything. Look, I have a little bit more confidence in it, but we'll see what happens. Lee is right. We have to be cautious. The original wooden bridge was replaced, says Nicholas Horton. Does anybody else have anything else to say about this Beetlejuice sequel before we move on to the last topic, which is this crazy video of your woman on the plane freaking out, like saying there's lizard people or something, or whatever the fuck they're coming up with these days. I don't know. It just seems to me, right? I better be careful what I say because it's YouTube, but it just seems to me, since everybody got that thing in their arm, that people have gone a little bit extra crazy. Have you noticed that?
Seems to be an increase in what we would normally call high strangeness.
Yes. That would be the best way. The bridge was replaced in the early 2000s. Says Nicholas Horton. That's a nice bit of trivia there. Thank you for that, Nicholas. But let's move on to this mad woman. So footage has surfaced up there at this woman on a plane, and basically she's having a bit of a freak out because the passenger apparently that she's sitting beside is not real or whatever it was. She said that apparently he said he was Lucifer or some mad crap like that. And she freaked out, and she was walking off the plane, and she was ranting and raving. You will see it for yourselves. And then she turned around and said, "That motherfucker is not real," or something like that. And everybody's head on the airplane just turns in unison to look at this bloke in the green hoodie. But he did look a bit strange, I have to bleed and say. Someone took a up-close picture of his eyeballs, and his eyeballs look a bit weird to me, but
cross-eyed to me, but
yeah. But I'll put it up. let's just see it first. Lee's already seen it. I've already seen it. So Lee is gonna give his take on it. Obviously, I'll give mine. But I just thought the world's just gone crazy right now. Yeah, you don't know what to believe anymore. But you don't. It's genuinely they've actually succeeded, right? They talk about misinformation. That's the whole point, man. They wanted misinformation, right? Get us all confused, and then all of this. Get away, man. Here. Anyway, let's put crazy lady on. Lizard guy and crazy lady. Now, apparently, this woman's gone missing. Now, if that is true, then there is something to this. It's either a prank that they've taken too far, or something really has happened to this woman. But you can be the judge of it. I'm just going to play this video and then myself and Lee. Lee, if you want me to pause at any point, actually, to make to give a reaction or to give a point of view, let me know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody can see that on screen. Yeah. Right. So you can see the full video on screen. Right. Let's play this.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two but I am telling you right now, that mother back there is not real.
All right, so the internet has heard the story of the woman on the plane with the reptilians. But thanks to her delaying the flight, I just got home, so now it's my opportunity to tell my side of the story as the guy in the hoodie. So we're attempting to fly out of Dallas, Fort Worth, and
Okay,
then
pause it.
this
Pause
woman
Okay,
sits next to me, and
right.
she's clearly been drinking.
Right,
Now,
go ahead.
This guy is claiming to be the guy in the hoodie. Now, the picture that we saw with the guy in the green hoodie is not this guy. He had dark eyebrows, dark eyes,
And dark hair.
No face tattoos. None.
No.
Now, there was another eyewitness who did a couple of TikTok videos, and he stated what happened, what he said he saw, and what he heard, and what he saw with his own eyes. Now, he said that he couldn't remember the color of the hoodie. That was the only thing he said about the person's look in terms of what he was wearing. He didn't mention any facial tattoos. Now, I think even if you couldn't remember what color hoodie he was wearing, he would certainly notice if the guy had facial tattoos. That was never mentioned. No one has mentioned anything about a guy with facial tattoos. Now, the other thing as well is that the description he said of the guy, because he saw him, was that now, I don't know what he meant by this, and you can take it any way you want, but he said that when he blinked, it was horizontal. Whatever that means. Okay, so I don't know. Anyway.
Has anybody noticed, because I noticed a couple of things about this guy as well. Have you noticed his jumper?
It's Masonic. Yeah, he talks about that in a minute. So this, I won't spoil it. Play the video, and then he actually addresses that. So he's claiming this, because he's saying that this is the hoodie that he was wearing, because he's saying that she refers to the symbol on his hoodie. Now that
after
hoodie,
this video, I will show you the image that Lee is actually talking about. It's a different guy. This is not the same guy, by the way.
And the hoodie that the guy was wearing was green.
It was green,
not black.
Yeah, we'll show it. We'll get the photograph, because loads of people have actually dug into this, because this is interesting. So we'll play the rest of it. Again, Lee, any point you want me to stop it, just let me know.
I'm minding my own business, and sure enough, she sees my hoodie that has this Freemason logo on it. And on top of that, she noticed my ring, so she started to ask questions.
When he says this with the Freemason logo on it, yes, it has Masonic set square and what do you call it? Not compass. But it's actually the Tree of Life. It's I wish we could actually scroll it up, but we can't. But that is actually the Tree of Life. It's a Kabbalic symbol. Yeah, so he's effectively saying this is what he was wearing, and we know that's not the case. Anyway, carry on.
Ask questions. Nothing dramatic. Just ask me, do I know what these symbols mean? Why am I wearing it? What's the purpose? Yada, yada, yada. And long story short, I basically just say, hey, I'm a Freemason. I even briefly explained how I educate about Freemasonry here on TikTok. Next thing I know, she basically starts to grill me about low-level Freemason and that it's all Satanism and that it's ruled by reptilians and blah, blah, blah. So I simply put my hood up and I started to ignore her and basically just mind my own business. She starts getting louder and louder, and then basically she's like, you know that they worship Lucifer at the top, right? So I looked at her dead in her eyes and I said, I am Lucifer. I heard one individual laugh behind me, so I figured somebody...
If a woman is going crazy at you next to you, accusing you of worshipping the devil, and then she's clearly not calming down, and then you tell her, yes, I am Lucifer.
Yeah.
Even if that's a joke, you're not helping the situation.
No.
It just doesn't ring true. I just don't think. I think this guy's doing this for clout, but he'll say something else in the moment that I want to pull him up on because it just gets to the core of it. Anyway, carry on.
Right. Not bad. I know this is good. I like this. We're analyzing it. That's what we were going to do. Break it down.
Somebody got a kick out of it at least. She starts running up and down the aisles, freaking out, saying I'm a reptilian, and then all this other stuff. She's going to get off the plane, yada, yada, yada.
So she wasn't running up and down the aisle. She got up once to walk away, and then she was calmed down by an air stewardess, whatever. And then she went kind of back to her seat and was having this conversation. And then at the end, she ran off, well, sort of strutted off down the way and then started screeching. So it was one time. And she didn't say anything about Lucifer, the devil, or reptiles, or anything like that. All she said was that MF
is not real.
It's not real. That's what. And again, when people were taking images of the person, it's not this guy.
We'll put the photographs up. Don't worry, man, because people have been digging into this. But I'll continue here. But this is fascinating. This whole thing, though.
It doesn't show all the footage. It just says that she's trying to get off the plane because of, I'm not going to say it here on TikTok. I don't want to get banned. But then also talking about how, like, I'm secretly also trying to take over the world. So I looked back at the guy that was basically chuckling before, and I winked at him. So I basically whispered something under my breath saying that Freemasons don't care to rule the world. We rule the universe. And I looked back at the guy that was laughing before and just kind of winked at him because he started laughing again. Well, I didn't think that she could hear me, but evidently she did, and it actually escalated it even further, and then they delayed the flight, and so on and so forth. So moral of the story, don't believe everything you hear on the internet. And Freemasons don't care to rule the world when we rule the universe.
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah. Don't believe everything. He said basically
on the internet.
Yeah, don't believe anything you read off the internet, but also Freemasons don't rule the world, they rule the universe. Okay. So I don't believe a fucking word you're saying then, because if you're a fucking Freemason on TikTok, you wouldn't be on fucking TikTok, okay? You wouldn't be a Freemason openly talking about Freemasonry on TikTok. Wouldn't happen. You wouldn't openly. I mean, I lived with a Freemason once. I had a flatmate who joined the Freemasons whilst he was living in the shared house that we were in. And he would talk about it openly to the point that he would say that he's a member. He wouldn't hide it, but he wouldn't talk about what they did. He certainly, if he was doing any form of social media presence, he wouldn't be talking about it like this guy claims to. I don't know his channel. I don't know anything about his channel, but he looks more like a fantasist fanboy. He might be historically into the Freemasons. Hell, he might even be a member of some lodge or something somewhere. But I just don't think. Now, don't get me wrong. That people with facial tattoos tend to be in The Masons. I don't know. I think they'd feel a bit funny about that. What do I know? But what we do know is that his claims do not match with the actual facts. It doesn't match up with any of the other accounts. At least one account that I've read about, who gave a description, but he didn't say anything about facial tattoos. No, I think that's kind of a big thing to miss. You might not get the color of the hoodie, but I think you'd notice facial tattoos. He described the person's demeanor as like looking straight forward. There was some heated discussion or something. So he seems quite laconic, not heated at all, like he's enjoying it. But from what was said by the witness, there was a bit of a heated exchange. But then the guy just stopped reacting and winked at him with what he's described as his wink as being horizontal.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that image for you. It was there earlier on, but I never, when I got it up the first time, I never put it in with the video.
Yeah, it's not a very good photo. It's obviously
it's a very grainy photo, but you can clearly see the color of green. Do you know what the color of green is? It's the green on the Irish flag. That's the color green that he's actually wearing now. Was that the same color green in the video that you just saw?
That looked like grey or black to me. Or it could be a dark green, but it looked black to me. But I think it was more like a mossy green. But you can see from the eyes and the eyebrows, which is pretty much all you can see, is that he's got dark brown eyes, not like those
there he is.
Kind of greeny.
There he is. I have it. But also at the same time, you saw that bloke on camera. He clearly has tats all over his face, yeah? Right? So this is the actual guy. Now, Lee has told you and warned you it is a bad photo, right? And actually someone has actually put the other guy's photo here as well. So what I'll do is I will share the guy in the video first, right? I'll share this one first, right? So the guy that you just watched in the video, we have a perfect photograph of this lunatic. And I'm saying lunatic because when you, I mean, he's got blue eyes, man, or green eyes, and your man has dark eyes. Right, so this is the guy you've just seen. So this is the guy that's claiming that your woman was having a freak out at him. Right, so you should be able to see his photograph now. So let me know. There it is, right? So that's the guy in the video that you just saw. This is the guy that's claiming that your woman was having the freak out at him, right? But you can probably already see it at the top of your screen there. So I will hit into. I'll have to stop screen share. I hate this. I have to do it this way, folks. Sorry. I'll get it now. Just bear with me. Just patience with me is not a thing that I have, though. I don't have the patience, but we'll get it.
I mean, if they could provide proof of the seat number and his ticket to show he was on that flight and his seat number,
I think
seat number, then you could prove.
I think he's a liar, man. He's a liar.
What, a Freemason is not going to be honest with you. Get out of town.
He's a liar. And you know what's at the happening now? It's at the jumping. That photograph. Hold on. I'll get it up, man. Just give.
That's what she said.
Oh.
Maybe grand. They're onto you, Noel. They're onto you. They don't want you to shower.
They don't want me to shower. Yeah, that's the excuse we'll use for my stupidity. Yeah. Keep that going. There it is. I have it. Jeez, I'm going to throw it up on screen real quick before this.
Okay, so I hope everyone remembers like that guy. You know, the ginger tattoo,
ginger hair.
Guy. Yeah,
ginger hair
with a broad brow.
Is this the same guy to you guys?
This guy.
And his facial tattoos.
We can't confirm this is the actual guy, obviously, but I mean, no facial tattoos, dark eyebrows, totally different person. Dark eyes, totally different person. Green hoodie. Bright green. No, look at what that guy was wearing. I don't know if you can scroll down a bit. I don't know if you can, but like that's a black hoodie with a Masonic symbol. That's not the same at all.
You want me to go back to the first guy again? I'll try. Hold on, bear with me. See
Well, can you not scroll through the scroll up? Because there's a picture on the right.
No, it's not. It's not. It's in the thread.
Mm.
Hold on. I should be able.
Still
to
not a ginger, says the Mecronon. Absolutely, just like the Doctor. I think Shooty Gatwa should have bleached his hair orange. Then he could have said he was a ginger. That would have been amusing, at least. Yeah, not the same person at all.
It's not, because even at the angle that we could see this guy now, the alleged guy, he's got tattoos on the side of his face reaching to his nose.
Right? You can see in the photo you got all the seats in that plane had that red thing at the back of the seats. I've seen the video. You got that little red thing there. So that looks to me like that's in camera in the plane, and this guy's talking in front of his own personal library or whatever. Why he's lying? He might not be lying. He might that person in that green hoodie might not be the person. But why would someone take a photo and crop that as the person? If it's not the person, it just seems like otherwise it's just a random person. How many people are going to be wearing their hoodies up inside a plane as well? That seems a bit off. So this guy needs to provide receipts. He absolutely needs to provide receipts for his claims. It's a strange one. And then the other thing as well is that I don't know when that other video of that guy freaking out on a totally separate plane was made.
In Croatia, but I think Community Notes got a hold of it. I think it's from 20. It's earlier. It's not
right
the date that people are claiming. But again,
he was freaking out, wasn't he? Like
he had a proper meltdown.
Yeah. So I don't know what that was about.
We've got the Incredible Hulk in the chat. Says hello to everybody.
You don't want to see him mad.
Scottish Stavros is saying it's not him, but we'll go up and see if we've missed any other chats on this. Some channels think she's really saying a jinn. If you know what that is,
jinn is it's the root word for genie. It comes from Arab culture, like Islam. They have what's called it's kind of like Satan or devils, demons. Right. You get good jinns, you get bad jinns, but you know, like kind of like fairy lore and stuff like this, very similar. But that's where the name genie comes from jinn.
Yeah, interesting though. But as I said, someone there was reporting that this woman has gone missing. Obviously,
she wasn't arrested. She was allowed to leave. She didn't hang around to collect her.
But apparently, she didn't turn up for work, which is a bit strange to me because, right, and this is why I think this is a hoax, right, and I can dismiss this very easily. If she was getting on a plane to go somewhere, right, then she wouldn't have been, her bosses wouldn't have been expecting her to show up for work the next morning, unless she was going on a very short flight over to somewhere and a very short flight back.
Well, she might have been taking the plane back to her home place to go to work.
Oh, it could be that as well. Yes. Ezra is in the chat as well.
Shalom.
Chris says, there's always people who falsely claim to be someone in order to grow their following in TikTok, 15 minutes of fame and all of that. Actually, that brings me to a good point here. It brings me to a nice little segue. Mr. Beast recently done it as well with the whole Titanic submersible thing, where he tried to say that he was actually offered a chance to go on that submersible, but he turned it down. Then when he put up a screenshot of the apparent whole thing, it was all blue, which meant he wrote the actual thing. Then he came back with a bullshit excuse that he took it off a friend's phone, which
What the
made
hell is
no
wrong with these
sense
people?
whatsoever. So
And the other thing,
great Mr. Beast does it for clicks. They all do it.
The other thing as well, if you're a member of the Freemasons, right, and you have a TikTok video telling the whole world about Freemasonry, educating them, in his own words, wouldn't you want to distance yourself as much as effing possible from any involvement with something that looks like a woman may have gone missing over seeing something, a person that was not real, and who another witness said his eyes blinked sideways, like horizontally.
Yeah.
You kind of not want to involve yourself with something that ties the Freemasons in a lie over a potential not real alien person on the plane. You kind of think, well, you kind of want to stay away from that because you don't want to, you know what I mean? It just seems very counterintuitive for a Freemason to come out and say, yeah, I was the one on the plane, blatant lie, but I was the one on the plane and it was me. There was no alien person there at all. It was me, really. That just seems bonkers, right? I mean, it makes the whole thing look even more bonkers and just throws up more. Why would you lie about this? Show your receipts. Or is he trying to implicate the Freemasons in this? That's another thing.
It could be that, again, see, we're interpreting the video one way, but again, we'd have to look at that video again and analyze it, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will. But there could be some things that we missed just watching it before. You know what I mean? Just watching it straight through. I know.
No, the other claim he made was that she was drunk.
Yeah,
I totally missed this time around.
Did she sound like she was slurring her words though?
And the other witness said that he reported on, and he did this in a TikTok video. I didn't have the TikTok video, but I had the transcript that I read on the website. I don't have the link, but if I can find it, I'll throw it up. Where he said that people were saying that she was drunk. She didn't seem drunk to me, is what he said. So I don't think she looked drunk. I think she looked pretty coherent. She just looked really, really scared.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't just want to leave the plane and leave your stuff behind. She didn't want to go back to that seat for whatever reason. And the guy apparently just sat there and he just looked over at someone and winked.
Definitely something happened, man. So, something happened to her sitting beside that guy or whoever it was, and it freaked her out. And she did. She looked genuine. And that's the thing that when I watched it, I felt weird about it, was the fact she looked genuinely scared.
No, if she was like, I mean, I didn't hear anything about lizard people. I didn't hear anything about Lucifer, the devil, or anything like that at all. She could have said that in her rant. If she was a religious nut, she would have gone, Jesus is here for you or something. She would have gone the whole hog, wouldn't she? She would have been that terrified. She would have been crossing herself and all sorts of things, but she didn't. Yeah. So I don't see any evidence that she was freaking out over Christian religious reasons, because she didn't bring God or the devil or Jesus or anything like that in what she said. And that if I were a religious fanatic and I wouldn't want to sit next to this guy because I thought he was the devil himself or whatever, I think I would have made a big hoo-ha about Jesus and saving people's souls, and that's a devil, and didn't hear any of that, none of that. So that just seems really, again, another thing that doesn't add up in what he's claiming in that video. The ginger guy it just doesn't ring true. She doesn't look drunk. She doesn't seem to be bringing religion into this at all. She would have said, instead of saying that person's not real, that motherfucker's not real, she would have said that guy's the devil, that guy's Satan, this plane is damned to hell or something. She would have said something religious. But she didn't.
No, you're right. You're right.
Now
man.
And she genuinely seemed scared. Now, if I was a religious scared person and I thought the devil's on the plane, I would have said something religious. She didn't.
Yeah,
doesn't add up. There's something really not right with this, and the way that this guy just comes out on TikTok to say, "Hey, it's all right," and people posting this as it's all resolved now. This guy said it was him and he explained it. It's fine, nothing to see here. That I find suspicious, and I think
that is suspicious.
You're not looking at it right, because he's clearly not the same guy as the guy that someone.
So what's his game? What's his angle? Is it 15 minutes of fame, or is it something else?
Something else, possibly.
And if
Who
it's
knows?
something else, then what is that something else? Yeah, very fascinating, man. We'll keep an eye on that. I know it's not what we usually do here. You know, I tried to do it the last time we put up some videos. We got bleeding hit. YouTube hit us, so I have to be careful what I actually throw up. But we seem to be pretty fine with those videos on TikTok, so that's good. And as I said, the links to all of those are in the link description, folks. Again, you know, so everybody knows that they're there. Lee, have you got any final thoughts before we wrap up tonight?
Well, Chris just says if she was properly freaked out and she looked hysterical, I can accept her not going anywhere after getting home and refusing all calls. Yes, that's true. But also, apparently, I don't know, Noel told me this. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that even her family couldn't get hold of her or didn't hear anything from her. So I don't know if she lives with any particular family members who haven't seen her. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on this, see what transpires if she turns up, and maybe eventually we'll get to hear a side of the story. If she disappears off the face of the earth, that's another story in itself. You know, so
yeah. That's it. Right, anyway, because these fuckers out of the stadium are annoying me. But we have covered everything that we wanted to cover tonight. So what we'll do is we'll do the social media roundup and we will leave it there. But I want to thank everybody in the chat that did take part and left a comment. We really do appreciate those opinions. But Lee, do you want to give out your social medias, buddy?
Yeah, you can follow me on the Twitter, the Twitwats at The Problem Being. I might or may not be on the Brown Alliance channel this Sunday. I haven't decided yet. Might be, might not be. My VFX channel, which is Audred. So you just put at Audred, AUDRED. And that's about it, really, at the moment.
Fantastic. And you can find me here on the Tarda Zone. And if you're a Manchester United fan, you can find me on all the Red Devil. I've finally gotten that name stuck in my head now, so that's good. Also, I hope to do a stream with Lee on Monday on Rumble talking about the LGB Alliance because we're more freer on YouTube. It's why we haven't actually brought it up because, you know, they're idiots here on this platform. But hopefully Monday we will be speaking about that. So if you follow us on Rumble, join us Monday. If not, get your ass over onto Rumble, sign up or whatever you have to do to follow the Tarda Zone, and myself and Lee will be on there as it gets closer to the day. I will tell you the time when Lee knows, because Lee's a busy man. So whenever he knows he's available, he'll let me know. So, but we will be streaming Monday.
Oh yeah, and Daniel's awesome.
Yeah, yes,
we know this already. He's a legend.
Yes.
He made me laugh today so loudly. He said, you know, it takes. Well, he says it's. Oh God, I saved it because I just thought it was so fucking funny. He said sometimes it's tiring when you're as awesome as me. I just cracked up. I thought,
yeah,
that's my man.
He's on a bit of a roll lately. And go and follow him. Go and follow him on his channel and Gobby Guy and the Spacebook and all of our other YouTubers out there that we all interact anyway at this stage. But you know what I mean. Go and support those fellow content creators. And thanks to Chris. Chris is putting all the stuff in the links there for Rumble and Lee's stuff as well. So check that out. Thank you guys for joining us. We will see you soon. I'm off now to make some chips because we had a very light dinner today and I'm actually starving and I need to eat some chips. So I'm going to make some homemade chips. Nice. So I'll leave it there. Yes. So I'll leave it there. Good night, folks. Enjoy your weekend and we will see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You shall be